The Texas Tech men's basketball team hit the hardwood for their first games of the NCAA tournament this weekend, with hopes of making another run for the championship. Coming up, we'll let you know how the team fared in this year's matchups.
Several student groups are coming together to celebrate the many things that make the Tech community unique during a week-long event. Coming up, we'll have a first look at this year's edition of Diversity Week.
And the Texas Tech softball team is still riding high after one of the biggest games in the history of college softball. We'll have a look at scores, highlights, and all the broken records in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Berkeley Adams.
And I'm Danielle Salazar.
Over the weekend, the Texas Tech men's basketball team competed in the 2021 NCAA tournament. The appearance marked the first time the Red Raiders had competed in postseason play since the 2019 national championship against Virginia. But unlike 2019, Tech's time in the Big Dance has already come to an end. On Friday, the Red Raiders met up with the Utah State Aggies in round one of the tournament in the Indiana bubble. The Aggies put up some tough competition during the first half of the game, with the lead going back and forth until the Aggies went up by 1 point just before halftime. Utah State kept the lead heading into the second half until Terrence Shannon Jr. hit a jump shot at the 15-minute mark to take the lead. From there, Tech took control and never looked back, notching their first tournament victory in almost 2 years with a final score of 65-53. Friday's win advanced Texas Tech to the round of 32 in a showdown with a third-seeded Arkansas last night. The Red Raiders started off a little slow but eventually took control with 15 minutes left in the first half. Tech maintained the lead until Arkansas tied things up and eventually took a 1-point lead into the break. The second half flipped the script for Tech, with Arkansas kicking into gear and going up by as many as 13 points. With 8 minutes left in regulation, Kyler Edwards hit a three-pointer and the momentum suddenly shifted. Tech went on an 11-0 run, pulling within 2 points of the lead, followed by another short run by the Hogs. Tech continued to fight back, eventually pulling within 1 point with 1 minute 56 left on the clock. But after that, the Red Raiders never found the basket again. One last foul by Mike McClung at the 19-second mark gave the Hogs the chance to go up by 2, followed by a last-second missed jumper by Kyler Edwards, sealing the game. Tech lost and dropped out of the tournament with a final score of 66-68. Last night's loss ended the Red Raiders' March Madness run, but the team still made history, as this is the first time the men have been to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. Tech ends the season 18-11 overall, which is still an improvement over last year's shortened season. The Red Raiders also have a good chance of returning several starters, with all members of the team receiving an additional year of eligibility due to the previous season's pandemic cancellation.
In other news, Texas Tech is taking time to celebrate the diversity of the campus community this week during an annual event. The 2021 edition of Diversity Week started earlier today at the Sub, with the annual kickoff event starting at 11 a.m. Representatives from various student organizations and departments gathered in the Sub courtyard to offer information about their groups to students passing by. Several groups even handing out free giveaways, including the official Diversity Week t-shirt. Today's kickoff also gave attendees a chance to learn about the many events taking place during the week-long celebration.
It just makes Texas Tech unique. It helps us stand out as a university. It also makes everybody feel included. It's just a great way to get everybody involved, and also getting back in person right now. I think the students are enjoying being able to get free stuff as well as
Today's Diversity Week kickoff was originally scheduled to take place in the new Red Raider Plaza just outside the hub. But due to the bad weather conditions, the event was moved inside to avoid the rain. Today's kickoff event wrapped up around 1 p.m., but there's still plenty of ways to get involved this week. For a full schedule of this year's Diversity Week events, just visit sab.ttu.edu and click on the Diversity Week link near the middle of the page.
Today's Diversity Week kickoff was one in several in-person events that have been happening on campus within the last several weeks. And with COVID-19 concerns starting to lessen, the Student Activities Board is also starting to offer more fun and free options for students beyond the virtual world. Last Thursday morning, SAB set up shop in the sub-courtyard for their latest in-person activity, Make Your Own Self-Care Packages. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., students could take a trip around the indoor lounge outside of the Allen Theater to pick up free items such as moisturizing face masks, lotion, and other healthcare and beauty items. SAB decided to host the self-care package event to give students a way to escape from the stress of the semester just in time for the second Spring Wellness Day on Friday.
So we're doing Make Your Own Self-Care Packages. We know it's been a stressful time, a kind of stressful semester for the students, so we wanted to give them items that they could relax with. It's important to do self-care events just to make sure that the students are getting like the care that they need, to make sure that they know, but there is time to relax, that they can relax because it's been really, really stressful. So it's good to remind people that they can like take a breath and just relax for a bit.
Make Your Own Self-Care Packages was one of only a few events that SAB has hosted in person this semester since the university eased restrictions on students' events. SAB traditionally hosts several Make Your Own events each semester, but this is the first in-person MYO event the group has held since last March.
Students heading to class this morning may have been caught off guard by a sudden rain shower as storms made their way through the area. But one thing that was expected that hasn't been as much of a factor is the wind. So far, wind speeds have stayed around 5 to 10 miles per hour with occasional gusts up to 20. But does that mean we can escape the windy conditions? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV tower cam is still showing heavy clouds this afternoon. Rain showers along with occasional thunder and lightning are sticking around the area and could continue to be a factor through the early evening. There's also a chance of heavier thunderstorms late this afternoon, and those could produce large hail and damaging winds. Along with the stormy conditions, temperatures are staying cooler and highs should only climb into the mid-60s. The storm system should move out of the area overnight, but winds are expected to increase with gusts possible up to 40 miles per hour. Tomorrow will see a return of sunny skies and warmer conditions. Temperatures are expected to climb into the low 70s and winds should stay light, making for a nice day. But Tuesday night, windy conditions return to the forecast as a cold front moves through the area, and that will drop temperatures as we head into the middle of the week. Wednesday is expected to be a windy day with sustained winds between 20 to 30 miles per hour. We'll also see cloudy conditions throughout the day. With the high in the low 50s on Thursday, we should see a slow warm-up as temperatures start in the 30s around sunrise and then increase into the mid-60s by the afternoon. Clear skies should also be back in the forecast before sunset, along with lighter winds to make for a nice evening. Looking ahead, gusty conditions will be back in the forecast on Friday before clear skies and mild weather return for the weekend.
As we mentioned earlier, it was a tough weekend for the Red Raider basketball team as they finished up their March Madness run this weekend. But two other Tech teams had some better luck at home as they continued their regular season schedule. On Friday, the Texas Tech baseball team opened up Big 12 play at Danlaw Field with a matchup against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. The Red Raiders came into the contest riding a 14-game winning streak, but the Cowboys were also the first ranked team Tech had faced since facing Mississippi State back in February. Friday's game was a defensive showdown, with Tech only putting up 6 hits and OSU only hitting 3. But the 3 hits were enough to end the Red Raiders streak as the Cowboys won Friday's contest 2-0. But after Friday's shutout, the Red Raiders showed up Saturday ready to play. Kurt Wilson started off scoring in the third with a home run. Kyle Conley followed up in the fourth with a sacrifice bunt, bringing in 2 unearned runs off a pair of errors by the Cowboys. Tech brought in 1 more unearned run in the fourth, and that was enough to put another W in the win column, taking down OSU 4-2. With the series tied at 1, Tech headed into yesterday's game with hopes of finishing out their conference opener with a final victory. The Red Raiders once again started off the scoring in the third with a double by Drew Baker and capped off only another 2-run home run by freshman Jace Young. Tech would add 2 more runs in the 4th and 1 in the 5th to put up a 6-1 lead on the Cowboys. OSU would go on to score 4 more runs, but Tech held on in the top of the 9th to bring home and finish off their first Big 12 series with a final score of 6-5. The Red Raiders have 4 days off to prepare for their next opponent, South Florida, who will head to Lubbock later this week. The weekend series will start off on Friday at 6:30 p.m. at Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park, followed by a 2 p.m. first pitch on Friday and 1 p.m. start on Sunday. If you're not headed to the ballpark, you can catch all 3 games on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Tech baseball wasn't the only team on the diamond looking for wins this weekend. The Red Raider softball team was also hoping for another victory as they welcomed Tarleton State to town. Much like the baseball team, the Red Raiders had a tough outing in their first game against the Texans on Saturday. Tech put up runs in 7 out of 9 innings, but it wasn't enough as Tarleton came out on top, 11-9. But on Saturday, Tech's bats came to life, setting up an historic day for college softball. Senior Carly Hamilton hit 2 consecutive grand slams in the 3rd and 4th innings, breaking school records for most grand slams in a single game. Also in the 4th, junior Peyton Blythe would go on to hit a 3rd grand slam for the team, tying the NCAA record for most grand slams in an inning. Hamilton went on to hit 1 more single in the 4th to bring on 1 more score, which brought her runs batted to 9 on the day, setting another school record, and on top of that, the Red Raider pitching staff also threw a no-hitter. Tech finished Saturday's first game a doubleheader with a score of 23-0. Tech softball closed out this weekend series with Game 2 on Saturday with a 9-1 victory. The Red Raiders brought the victory home as they continued their energy from the 23-0 rout from the Texans from earlier in the day. Tech had 9 runs off to 10 hits, with 5 of their 9 runs scored in the 5th inning. With softball's historic weekend behind them, they now gear up for their first conference series here at home this weekend against the Baylor Bears. The Red Raider will start off the Big 12 play with a 6 p.m. first pitch on Friday, followed by a 4 p.m. start on Saturday, and a noon start this Sunday. This week's games will not be televised, but you can keep up with live stats through the athletics website at texastech.com. So Berkeley, did you have a chance to watch any of the Red Raiders teams in action over the weekend?
Yes, I did. I was able to watch the baseball games all 3 days. Did you?
No, I wasn't able to watch this weekend.
That's okay.
That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We will see you on Thursday.